Hi, I'm Darryl Hold, and tonight we're going to do just a little talking head video here. Just have a little chat, a little more leisurely than some of the recent instructional videos I've done, and definitely be doing more of the instructional videos. So, what I want to talk about tonight is how being a Renaissance man or a Renaissance woman can help you excel on standardized tests and overall as a student. So let's talk about what does it mean to be a Renaissance man or a Renaissance woman. You know, I heard a joke some time back that what's the difference between a Renaissance man and a dilettante? A dilettante, of course, is a person who goes from here to there. And the person who told me this joke, they said, a Renaissance man has contracts. And I think that's a great way to look at things. There's nothing wrong with having a myriad of interests, as long as it all ties together in kind of a unifying life mission. And again, this may seem like a pretty general type thing, but this will understanding how being a Renaissance man or Renaissance woman will help you excel on standardized tests, as well as helping you excel as a student. So I want to talk a little bit about my background and what brings me here to talk with you about this tonight. This little YouTube chat we're having. Well, I could never have anticipated that when I got my degree in teaching 20 years ago, a little bit more than that now, 21 years ago, the twists and turns that my life was going to take. And I'm only going to relate the professional ones that are important for you to understand. I had to make a decision at that point when I graduated with a degree in teaching. Was I going to be in a highly structured environment, such as a public school system, or was I going to work independently? And I chose the path less traveled. And what's interesting about choosing the path less traveled is that ultimately is where a lot of the more successful people go. You know, you could be entering college right now or on the verge of it and be looking and saying, you know, this is what there's a lot of the demand for. So, you know, for instance, you might choose to go for nursing. I said, well, there's a lot of demand for nursing. But do you really know what it's going to be in 4 years? No. And referring back to myself, but only to refer to myself for you out there to learn, is I also have a license in nursing. And someone had talked to me some time back, this is quite a while back, and they said, Darryl, you really need to just concentrate on one thing. And some of you may be getting that kind of advice, and yet you find that you have a myriad, a bunch of interests that reach at you, and you might be concerned about that hindering you as a student. And what I encourage students out there who are looking to excel, you only have to look a little bit back in history, and that's why I open this up, how being a Renaissance man or a Renaissance woman can help you really excel in not only standardized testing, but as a student. It was considered very acceptable back in those times, colonial times, people like Benjamin Franklin, all the things that he invented, all of the, excuse me on the lighting there, all the things that he invented. There's the classical key and kite up and discovering uses of lightning. He was a printer. He was an ambassador. Um, Accomplished many things in his life. And what's ended up happening is when industrialization came on, the concept of specializing, such as Henry Ford, when he specified, excuse me, I wasn't catching quite the right word, when he used the assembly line, everything was done to specificity. You had one person tighten the bolt in the car, the next person put the fender on. And what I say to you is students, that was the old paradigm of the early 1900s, well into the middle of the 20th century. But we've actually gone full circle. We all need, in order to survive and thrive in this economy, to be Renaissance men, Renaissance women, having a multiplicity of interest. I have a fitness interest. I currently do some personal training, teach some fitness classes, and I've had people ask me, well, why don't you just concentrate on tutoring? Well, we all have bodies, and if we don't take care of our health, we're not going to academically succeed. We're not going to thrive intellectually. It's very enjoyable to teach these exercise classes. So I've got all of these interests, and yet, as I said before, a Renaissance man has contract. I have steadily and intensively tutored SAT and ACT and math for about 12 years. My original degree was in history, which I'm fascinated with that. So the idea that you can only do one thing right, this is really an artifact of the early 20th century. And most of you who are listening and watching this video right now, in this kind of fireside chat, if you will, even though we don't have a fireside here, is what I want to emphasize to you is having all of these interests is actually going to work to further you as a student. When I sit down to write, it's very easy for me because of the cross-pollination of my interest and making the most of my gift. When I sit down to do math and tutor math, I don't tutor math as a math professor does. I'm able to tutor it from somebody who came from another discipline and reach people who couldn't be reached. There is so much to be said for making use of the gifts that you have, and not, as the old cliche goes, let them be pigeonholed. So while all of you out there are looking to excel in, as a student, excel on your tests, know that having a broad base of interest is only going to work for you. It's not going to work against you. And there may be those out there who say, how come you do this, this, and this? And what I say is, those without vision perish. And on that note, I hope that you found this helpful. We will be back to instructional video the next time around. Talk to you soon.